so finals for Brigham Young University were in April, and I was going to take my finals. Literally a week after my last final, I was going into the MTC. And I know some missionaries have had it worse, but I felt so crunched and I could not focus that last part of the semester. And I remember that I was going to fail one of my classes. I wasn't academically the best or sharpest student. Not that I wasn't sharp, I just wasn't as diligent, a little bit distracted. And part of it was the mission, part of it was just the anticipation of going, and some anxieties I had. And I remember I was about to fail a class, and I was going to my teacher to say to that teacher, teacher, I'm failing, and it's too late probably for me to do anything about it, but I wanted to talk to you and just kind of tell you, like see if I can work anything out. And I remember praying really hard. I said, Heavenly Father, I want to go on a mission. I want to be a good missionary, but if I can't even be a good student, if I can't even get a good grade in class, how am I supposed to do a good job on a mission? And this was, I mean, just from my personal worldview, this was a fairly important and big question that was looming ahead of me. Like, I didn't have a ton of self-confidence from this experience. And I remember sitting in front of that teacher's office when another one of my teachers came by. And this teacher, I didn't actually know he knew my name this well, but I was in a smaller class of 40 students, and he called out my name. He said, Brian, you look down. What's going on? And I was like, oh, nothing's going on. And he was like, oh, what's going on? There's a very sincere, warm light about him. And I told him what was going on. I was leaving on a mission. I would fail this class. And he took it upon himself to talk to my other teacher and to try to get me a little bit better grade. And he even said he would work with me to make accommodations for his test, so I wouldn't be so stressed or so anxious. And I remember distinctly when he left, just kind of breaking down in tears. And I'm not one to cry a ton, but I just remember breaking down in tears because I felt that at that moment that God knew me, and that my ability to perform at a university academia setting was not necessarily reflective of how great a missionary I was going to be. And I remember I learned to unlink my past mistakes from my own feelings about myself at that moment. And it was a huge moment for me and for, the future of my mission experience. And I learned that I was, watched out for, that God had sent that teacher as an angel to at least let me know, you know what, Brian, I know you. And I got you back, and it's just a good thing. And so that was a really formative experience. Going into the mission, I remember that a lot. I remember trying to unlink my past mistakes, the mistakes I made, from my ability to perform, on the field going in.